everyone. Welcome back to Alpha Insights. I'm Brittany, ready to dig into the industrial and manufacturing headlines that matter.
And I'm Marcus. We've got Capex, chip fabs, tariff clarity, and a few painful logistics shakeups to unpack. So let's get into it.
Big picture first. The growth story is coming from investment. TSMC just reported about $122 billion in revenue for last year and confirmed its second Arizona fab is complete. Production is set to start later this year, and a third fab is already under construction.
That's huge. What that tells me is the AI-driven demand for advanced chips isn't cooling off, and that translates into a multi-year Capex wave. Think equipment makers, material suppliers, and even local construction firms. They're the first to see orders flow.
Exactly. And for investors, that means more predictable order visibility for suppliers of foundries. When a big foundry moves a fab from build to production, they start buying tools, wafers, and services. It's a domino effect.
Right, but execution matters. Building a fab is capital-intensive and detail-heavy. Even with demand locked in, timelines, yield ramp, and hiring skilled technicians can create hiccups. So there's upside, but also operational risk.
Speaking of risks, Washington offered a bit of clarity. The Commerce Department capped Taiwan-related tariffs at 15%. That reduces a big wild card for companies that source from Taiwan.
That cap is meaningful. It doesn't eliminate geopolitical risk, but it narrows the range of potential new duties. For manufacturers, that makes cost forecasting easier. They can model a worst-case tariff of about 15% instead of facing open-ended surprises.
Implementation timing is still fuzzy, though. The headline is calming, but companies will want details. Exactly when the cap applies, any carve-outs, and how reciprocal or sector-specific duties are handled.
Definitely watch for that timeline. If the Commerce Department gives clear rules soon, supply chain managers can make concrete sourcing and pricing decisions. If not, uncertainty lingers, and that could slow contract signings or capital commitments.
Beyond semiconductors and tariffs, we're seeing more U.S. capex. Becton Dickinson is putting about $110 million into a syringe facility in Nebraska. Kratos and Bombardier announced new sites. And there's a steady drumbeat of defense and medical device expansion.
Those are pockets of durable spending. Defense and aerospace often get prioritized because budgets are less elastic, and medical devices meet regulatory and demand-driven needs, so firms can often pass through higher costs. Plus, sustainability-led packaging changes are still on some companies' radar, which creates steady demand for substrate and material suppliers.
But it's not all sunshine. Logistics is showing strain. Yoops reorganized its U.S. sales team and took some layoffs, and Macy's is laying off nearly 1,000 workers at Connecticut fulfillment centers. That's short-term friction that can impact retailers and shippers.
Layoffs in logistics are double-edged. They can be part of efficiency moves, restructuring to improve margins, but they also risk customer churn if service slips. Companies that rely on tight delivery windows or large contracts will be watching carrier performance and contract renewals closely.
And don't forget the workforce issue. A recent salary survey shows firms still struggle to hire and keep skilled technicians and operators. If you can't staff the new factories, ramping production becomes really expensive or delayed.
That's why execution risk matters. Strong demand plus labor shortages equals margin pressure. Investors should look for companies with credible hiring plans, automation strategies, or training programs. Those will be better positioned to capture the Capex upside.
So, what should listeners watch next week? First, keep an eye on TSMC's production timeline. Actual startup dates and throughput guidance will be market-moving for suppliers.
Second, monitor any Commerce Department follow-up on tariff implementation. Specific dates or carve-outs will change cost planning for a lot of manufacturers.
Third, watch logistics updates from carriers and big retailers for signs of customer churn or pricing pressure tied to those reorganizations and layoffs.
And fourth, look for more Capex announcements from defense, aerospace, and medical device companies. If that pipeline keeps growing, it confirms a broader industrial investment cycle instead of isolated projects.
All right, time to wrap. Marcus, quick bullets. What are the 3 big takeaways?
1. TSMC's Arizona ramp signals durable semiconductor Capex, big opportunity for equipment and material suppliers. 2. The 15% tariff cap reduces trade policy uncertainty, but watch the implementation details. 3. Logistics shakeups and labor gaps are real execution risks that could blunt upside.
Perfect. And for me, favor selective exposure, semiconductor suppliers, defense and aerospace contractors, and medical manufacturers with solid execution. Keep an eye on production start dates, tariff guidance, and contract flows and logistics.
Good summary. If you're an investor, don't just chase the stories. Look at operational detail and hiring signals. That's where the winners will separate from the rest.
Thanks for listening. We'll be watching those catalysts and bringing you updates next week on Alpha Insights.
Catch you next time. Keep an eye on those Capex announcements and stay curious about the supply chain story behind the numbers.